Can you hear
Mary,
me?
how are you doing?
No, you were unmuted. Oh, there it is.
Good to go?
Yeah.
What's up, Mary?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? How's everything?
Everything's pretty well. Just over here getting ready for I have a pop-up coming up, so I was finishing all the, final touches.
Okay. Yeah, that was definitely something I wanted to ask just because what is a pop-up? What exactly does that entail? Explain it to a simpleton like myself that has no idea what that means.
A pop-up is where you just kind of like go to somebody else's restaurant and you do like a pop-up menu or your own pop-up restaurant for like a day and then you close it down.
Oh, that's it? Oh, okay.
So I've done
Okay.
like a couple of them in Texas where I'll go to like a hotel or a big restaurant and it's like I will be serving my own food at that restaurant. It's like, hey, I'm having a pop-up. You show up and then you leave. You're like, hey, I want Mary's food. There it is.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah. I know I keep mentioning it, but we gotta have you come back to Dallas and do one of these. I know you're from San Antonio, but we gotta get you back up here to DFW and do one. What do we have to do to make that happen?
I have to find a restaurant that's willing to let me come in and take over.
Okay. Well, I know a few people that have, some ends of that industry. Maybe I could put some feelers in for you and see if we can get you up here and get you into Dallas and get one because I know you said you've done a few, but you haven't done anything in this neck of the woods, right? You've only done it in California and San Antonio.
I haven't done any in California. This is my first one here in
Oh,
California. All the ones I've done, they've been in Texas, and it's always somebody that I've known. It's one of my friends, like Mary, come over here, do one here, and I'm like, okay, but out here I have to like make the connections and make the friends be like, hey, what do you think of this? And they're like, yeah, that's cool, and I was like, oh, thank God.
nice, nice. Okay, cool. When's that one happening?
It is going to be next Saturday, November the 5th. It's going to be Princess and the Frog inspired because she's my favorite princess and it's my favorite time period and my favorite type of food.
Okay, that's cool for sure, for sure. So then, where's it going to be? Is it in LA or is it
No,
going to
it's
be?
going to be it's in Oakland. So I live in the Bay Area.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Because I thought, didn't you have one scheduled to do one in LA, or did it already happen?
I did have one scheduled in LA. No, we decided to postpone it.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, that's what I said too. I was like, no, you're right. It's fine. Let's postpone it. We'll get bigger sales at a different time.
Okay. So now you said that was obviously your favorite time period and everything. With that, like if you were to have another one pop up, how do you come up with the concept and the menu to do everything? Is it just stuff that you really like, or do you just like? Does it have to deal with maybe the kind of food that the restaurant already does, or are you just doing something completely different?
Mixture. Like there's one restaurant in San Antonio that I'll be back in Texas around December. And so I was already talking to them about doing a pop-up and they serve a lot of Filipino food. And so I like my type of cuisine is, I'm from Texas, so it's like Southern food. I like Creole Cajun influences. So I wanted to take my influences and mix it with theirs just because that's what they're known and that's what I'm known for. And I was like,
Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember
and
from the
grub
last time
steak
we talked.
is me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay.
No, I was just going to say, I know from like the last time we talked, I don't know if you remember. Have you found a good taco yet in California? Are you still looking for
Oh, I
one?
did. No. I found a really good one. And it's like Luna, no, that's wrong because every time they say the name to me, I'm like, what? What are you saying to me? It doesn't sound like a name. I have to text my friend and be like, where do we go for tacos? Because he had taken me on an adventure. He's like, you want tacos, Mary? I'll show you where to get tacos. I went to like 4 taco places. I was just happy as a clam, just sitting there dancing and eating. I was like, I love these. These are great. Yeah, they had great carnitas. I was like, it's so crunchy.
There you go. Yeah, I literally like when I was putting the video of the last one we did and put it out on my social media to kind of promote it, I put that one little clip of that exchange where we talked about that, and you're like, I haven't had a good taco since I've been out here. That's blatant lies that California's got better Mexican food than Texas. So yeah, I put that one clip in like little to like get people the little tease basically when you were talking about the tacos in California ain't all that.
Apparently they were like, you need to go to LA. And I was like, fine, I will. But I can understand. It's like, when you go to North Texas, look, I know you're in Dallas. But in San Antonio, I feel like San Antonio's got better tacos than Dallas does. You know how many
Oh,
times I'll go to like a breakfast or a meeting for something and they're like breakfast will be provided and there's like donuts and fruit. And I was like, no, no, no. When you say breakfast will be provided, it's breakfast tacos. I don't see that when I'm there. In Texas, in South Texas, San Antonio, it's like, hey, breakfast is provided. I'm like, all right, so there's gonna be kolaches and there's gonna be breakfast tacos. I'll be there.
there you go. Yeah, I will say, I mean, born and raised in Dallas, and Dallas through and through. But I will say we are probably a little more. I mean, maybe a little more bougie, maybe a little more, a little too highbrow sometimes here in Dallas. It's kind of got that feeling and that vibe a lot of times that it's a little we take ourselves a little too seriously for the most part up here.
I understand. Whenever people tell me about like, they're like, "Do you have a lot of Tex-Mex there?" I said, "Dallas has Tex-Mex. We have Mexican food. We're closer to the border." And they're like,
Yeah, it's
"Ah,
more
that
authentic,
makes
more
sense."
legit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, we're just closer to the border, so that's why our food is different.
Exactly,
And it's,
exactly.
it's the same thing in California because I like in LA because I guess the closer that they are to the border, that's where you're getting like better time. And I think I want to say San Diego. I might be lying. It's one of the Sands that's here in California. Apparently, that's supposed to be the place for Mexican food. They were like, no, you go to that place, that's it. And I was like, okay, okay. But it's farther south. And I was like, makes perfect sense.
You could literally do like a whole other YouTube spinoff of you trying to find the best taco in California. This quest that you've been on to trying to find one that's equal to Texas.
I should. That just sounds like a lot of fun, but I was like, can somebody else film it and edit it? Because I can barely handle my own filming and editing. And then to start a whole nother show, if anyone wants to do my filming and editing, let's go. You're hired.
Exactly. Yeah. If everybody's listening, reach out to Mary and do her editing for her. She will much appreciate it. Yeah, because I know just from doing the stuff that I do, if I do the interview with the friend of mine that played football, and when we have to set things up, I mean, it's what you do is way more involved. I mean, you're using different angles and showing, like the last one you did, where the last one I watched was it the mimosa to get like the perfect ratio for the mimosa, like.
Yeah, but that one was fun. And then I was like, I was so drunk afterwards because I drank that whole bottle. I was like, it can't go to waste. And like my roommate wasn't home, and I told her, don't worry about it. I got it. And I was like, yep, yep, yep. And then I finished the last of the bottle, and I was trying to film again, and I was like, all right, now. And I was like, this isn't working, Mary. You're forgetting all the ingredients. And like you said, the angles and all the things. I have to like move the camera here and then move it there. And that one's easier because I'm just making a mimosa. But when I'm cooking something, it's like I have to flip it at this time or I have to do something at this time. So I have to have the
Right.
camera like either constantly moving or twice. I don't want to make it twice. I lose all my momentum. No, I'm
Right.
not that fun, happy person again. I'm all like, now I flipped it, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Yeah, you got to let people know you're doing this. You're working hard for all this content you're putting out there, Mary. Everybody's got to appreciate
I have a full-time job and I'm still doing all this stuff.
it. Right. Exactly. For doing it for the people. Yeah, exactly. You have a kind soul to do that for all of us. Yeah, even
Thank
when you
you.
did, there was something more like I saw. Was it like kind of maybe kind of like a Halloween theme kind of or something that you
Oh,
did
my
recently?
vampire one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the best video I've ever made. I was so proud of myself.
What inspired that? How did that come about? Obviously, with Halloween going on with October, of course, but
When I was a little girl, while most girls wanted to be like doctors or the president or like ballerinas when they grew up, I always wanted to be a vampire. And my mom was for it. She was like, you know what, baby, if you want to be a vampire, you be the best vampire you can be. And I was like, thank you, mom. Until I realized I couldn't be a vampire. But I just happen to have all that stuff because I do cosplay, but I always wanted to be a vampire. And I was like, you know what? I was at the farmer's market. They had a heart for sale. I said, let me get that heart. And I was like, I'm going to be a vampire and eat a heart tonight. And I think my roommate thought I was playing because I was like, if you come home and it's going to be really dark and I'm dressed up like a vampire, don't freak out. And she goes, okay.
like just forewarn. Yeah, it might be a little bit different when you get home tonight.
But honestly, I think they're used to it because it's like she always comes home and I am in like some costume or I'll knock on her door and when she opens it, I'm all like dressed up like Dumbledore or something. I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, stop it. Stop.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite ones that you did when the first time we talked. You had just did that one where you had the beard on, and then like you would have it on, but you have it off. You're like, wait a minute,
I kept forgetting
put the
it.
beard back
Like,
on.
I'd see myself in like the video I'm recording. I'm like, dang it, put it back. No
Right.
one knows.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming I probably already know the answer to this one, but my birthday was a couple weeks ago, so October.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. So I'm as I've gotten older, I turned 43. What? Yeah, 2 weeks ago today. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I guess I'm becoming a grumpy old man. I am like anti Halloween. I don't dress up. I haven't done anything for Halloween in ages. Now, if you're doing, the video where you're like, look like you're doing the vampire thing, I'm assuming you're probably the total opposite. You're probably more pro Halloween as opposed to me, the grumpy old man who's anti Halloween. What are you more? You dressing up? You going to parties, doing all that?
Well, because I cosplay, it's something that is just I always will find any excuse to dress up. But when it comes to Halloween, everyone dresses up. So I don't really dress up as like it's not
Oh,
gonna be an all-out character. Like I will be this year, I wanted to be the chairman from Iron Chef, and I want to wear a suit and a bald cap because that seems funny. Like a lot of cosplayers, whenever it is Halloween, we just dress up as something ridiculous because it's funny. One of my friends wore a box of cereal and he put a whole bunch of like plastic knives in it. He goes, "Look, I'm a serial killer." And I was like, "Ha, that's funny."
well, I
And I
saw one that was kind of I can't remember, maybe a couple years ago, maybe pre-COVID. It was a guy wearing like the costume was like the box wine. I don't know if you've seen pictures of that.
know,
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know,
that's
basically, I mean, it's without being, I try to keep these more PG if I can, but basically it was, he had the box wine costume, you had the little dispenser towards the bottom. There was a woman involved in the setup of said
funny.
picture being taken. You could probably put two and two together, but I saw that
That's
and I was
funny.
like, well, that's kind of funny and creative.
Funny. He knows what
Definitely
he's
can't do
doing.
that with the kids around, but if it's an adult
Yeah.
Halloween party, then it's okay. Then it's okay.
I think one year I happen to have like this is funny. Like
Mm,
I don't know. I just do things that make me laugh when it's Halloween.
right. So with the cosplay thing, you got anything coming up with that? I know, like, how do you pick and choose the events that you go to? That is it just because strictly like you can have time to go do it because you obviously you're doing, you got a full time job, you're doing all this other stuff on your YouTube channel. Like, how do you pick and choose when you get to do that?
Um, I try to figure out which cons are actually happening. My friends are better at it than I do. Somebody usually messages me. It's like, "Mary, you going to this?" And I'm like, "Oh, when is it?" And they're like, "This time." All the and I was like, "Do you know anyone that's got room?" And they're like, "I do." So thank you to all my friends that are always keeping track of me. And then I'll try to pick something out of there, or I will see which groups, big group cosplays together, or whatever show's coming out. Right now, I have two cosplays in the works. One of them is literally just working in my head, but I really
Okay.
want to do Galadriel from the Rings of Power. But I want like I don't want to wear the little crown and the dress. No, I'm trying to make the full armor. I'm gonna buy the sword, but I want to make the full armor, and that's gonna take me forever.
Oh,
But it seems really fun. And I told myself I'm not allowed to do it until I finish all my other things because that's just fun stuff. And then I'm going to the Renaissance Fair in Texas in a couple of weeks. And so
okay.
I'm trying to do that cosplay.
Where's which one in
The
Texas?
one that the one in St. Houston in Pleasanton,
Okay, I know I had
Texas.
a ex girlfriend that was really into going to the Renaissance Fair, and her and her son when he was little, that was like one of their favorite things they used to do. And she's like, "You ever been to one?" I was like, "Uh-uh." Like it's just never like her son dressed up as Harry Potter one year for Halloween. She sent me a picture. I had no idea who he was, no clue.
Oh, I feel like I should leave this meeting.
I
I was
know
like,
that.
that
I thought, yeah, I was just
me.
like, should I tell her this? Yeah, yeah. If that doesn't end it, this might. I have never seen any of the Harry Potter movies. I've never
Mm.
seen any of the Lord of the Rings, any like Marvel, DC, all that stuff.
What do you do for fun?
I know.
Just none of
I've
it.
had that reaction a few times. I'm like, you know, I mean,
Just
sports
watch
is my thing.
sports all day.
I just, you know, I pay attention to sports. I do that. And I mean, I like more of the kind of like typical guy movies, you know, like the shoot 'em up, gangster, drug dealer kind of movies, or, you know, your typical action stuff. You know, that doesn't take much to entertain me. Just typical guy. Easy.
Oh man, in the Marvel movies, they're literally fighting.
Yeah, I know. I literally, the ex girlfriend was just like, "You've never seen any?" I'm like, she's like, "What? How?" I like,
God.
I didn't even know there was a Harry Potter theme park at Universal Studios.
Should just close my computer. We're done. We're done here. Oh man, I go to the Harry Potter theme park. I've been like 3 times. One of the conventions that I go to is in Orlando, and then we all like leave the convention and we all go to the theme park, dress up as our characters, and then wander around. I spend way too much money. I love and hate it. I'm like, oh, my credit card hates me.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, you besides Harry Potter, the main character, I mean, obviously the one with the beard, would you say Dumbledore? Is that his name? Dumbledore?
Oh man, Dumbledore. We gotta talk about something else.
Yeah.
The level of disrespect is just rising. Oh my goodness. I
I
put it
know.
in a sports metaphor, but I don't know any.
See, yeah, I know. It just, well, I think it's because, well, obviously I'm a little bit older than you. Uh, but I think when the first Harry Potter movie came out, they were all like little kids. And it was like,
Yeah.
basically, it was a kids movie. And I was like 22 when it came out. So I was like, why would I go to a little
No,
kids movie?
that makes a lot of sense. Like when it came out, I was the same age as all the kids, so I was just like, oh, like we all grew up together. So now that they had like the 20th anniversary and everyone's my age, all my friends and I are like, did you watch it? Yeah, like everybody I knew, we were in it. But that's
Did you
because
read
it
all the
came.
books?
Yes, I did several times, and I have the audiobooks. Jim
Oh,
Dale is the best one. That's why he deserved the Emmys that he received.
well, then you would get along great with my niece and nephew because you're all probably closer in age because they saw them all, they read all the books. And I always just thought, I was like, anybody that can get little kids to read books and just, I mean, those were like not small books either. I mean, those were really like involved
Bruh.
stories. And yeah, I mean, you get little kids to
It's
read
like
that much. Amazing.
they go from like book one, two, and three are like this big, and then all of a sudden you get book four, and I was like, "What's happening in here? What is this?" It was ridiculous. People are dying.
How many
Turns
movies
into a
are
drag.
there?
There are 8 movies and 7 books.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, literally like $1 million on the table, gun to my
But then she
head.
has her whole fantastic. Then
Oh,
what?
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I'm really excited to see what you're gonna say. I'm really anxious.
I was just gonna say, like, if you'd have just asked me the same question, like how many books or movies, like gun to my head, put $1 million on the table, I wouldn't have been able. I would have no clue. I know there's a lot. I would have probably guessed like 5 or 6 books, maybe. Probably 10 movies.
That's okay.
Yeah. So
You know, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses. Like you said, you sports. Me, I usually only know what's going on just by reading, and they tell me who to root for and what happens.
right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I know I've had this conversation with coworkers that are under the age of 30 within the past like 5 years, and all of them look at me like, "What's wrong with you? What? Huh?" And like you just see their like mind just explode.
Blown.
They're
I'm
like,
like, what's
"What?
happening?
Why? What do you do?" Like you said, what do you do for fun? Right? Yeah, I've had that exact question asked to me before. Like, what? Do you not like do you not like being entertained? I'm like, eh, you know, I could watch
Are
a
you
baseball game and I'll be happy.
entertained?
There you go. There you
Okay.
go. Speaking of being entertained, do you have anything on the horizon as far as like another Hell's Kitchen that you might be coming on? Because they just started a new series, right? They got like the 20-year-olds and the old people my age, the 40-year-olds.
Um, I don't have any plans on being on Hell's Kitchen. Like they haven't reached out to me for anything. I know that I'm on one episode of the current season that's out now. I don't know when it's going to air, but those episodes. Otherwise, not that I know of. I think if they do an all-star season, I'd be more than happy to come back. But yeah, shit.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I've watched a few of the episodes of the younger people and the old people, and it's cool. It's all right. I mean, it's not as interesting, I think, as some of the other seasons because you got, I mean, us older people, we can't do it like we used to. Trust me, now that I'm in
I
my
haven't.
almost mid 40s now, I guess mid 43, I guess that's mid 40s. Things are different. Things start changing when you hit that big 40, Mary. Trust me.
I haven't watched any of the season. I was like, I will later. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitter. Or maybe I just don't want to watch it. I've figured out when the Young Guns came out the season after mine, all my friends were like, "Are you watching it?" And I was like, I only watched my season. That's
Right.
all I had seen. So then when I was actually on Hell's Kitchen, everybody knew all the challenges that were happening. Every day was just new for me. They're all like, I bet it's this challenge. I'm like, what challenge is that? And they're like, where this and this happens. And so I'd go in thinking we're going to do like A challenge. And then we ended up doing C challenge. And I was like, you said we were doing this. And I was over here getting ready. So every day was new and exciting.
Right. Right. So, like you said, you have the pop up in San Antonio. When is that happening again?
The pop up in San Antonio is not going to happen until December, like mid
December.
December.
Okay. And how long are you gonna be in town for that one? Just the
Mm-hmm.
weekend?
No, I think I'll probably stay down there from maybe the 20th until like the first or second. I'll probably just
Oh,
stay in San Antonio until the new year or
oh,
stay in
okay.
Texas for the new year.
See some family and friends.
Yeah, see my family, see my friends, do that pop up, maybe see if I can plan another one in like another city so I can just get more bang for my buck and just go around.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we'll try to make this one happen for you up here in DFW. Got to get you
Let
up
me
here.
borrow the car. So
Right? Yeah, we got to
that's
get
all
you
I
up here to
love.
Dallas. We got to get you up here, Barry, for sure. I know we might be a little full of ourselves here, but we got to get you up here. Bring some of that
I
Mary
mean, I
Lou
went to college
style.
in Dallas. I like Dallas. I don't think you guys are full of yourself. I just think that San Antonio has better tacos.
This
That's
is just a
that's it. Like,
fact.
yes, that like Texas is so big that each city is very distinct. It has, and I always tell it to a lot of people because I'll compare it to different cities in California, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I always feel like Austin and LA are the ones that are very similar to each other. That just
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense. And for me, being in like the Bay Area, it kind of really reminds me a lot of Texas, not Texas, of San Antonio, just because it's really like laid back and chill. But Dallas is very busy. Dallas has all kinds of things going on. So if you
Hmm.
want to do a lot of things, it would be very similar to that. And I think Houston and San Diego are very similar in the way that they are, where it's like
Oh,
you
really?
have your different niches. Yes. Because I feel like when you're in Houston, anywhere you're going, you're in different, like you can find yourself in different cultures. Like you have your
That's
Asian
true.
community over here, you have your Mexican community over here, you have your Black community here. And then when you get inside of your Asian community, it's like, well, here's your Koreans, here are your Vietnamese, here are your Chinese. Like there's so many different places to be and to go.
Uh huh. For sure.
And so it
Yeah,
reminds me
I
of
agree.
those types of cities. I was like, what depends on what you want. Like if I'm gonna retire somewhere, I'd probably retire in San Antonio. But if I want to go out and have a good time, I'm gonna go to Dallas. Dallas is fun. Stuff's always going on.
There you go. I'm telling you, you got to come up here,
Yeah.
Mary. It's gonna be a good time. So, I also want to ask: is there any like? I know we talked about how you kind of got into cooking and all that, but since you've been doing it and you've been in this field for quite a few years now, is there anything that you haven't accomplished that you still want to do? Because obviously between being on television, now you're doing all these pop-ups and everything. Is there still something that you're chasing in the culinary world?
I'm chasing, I guess, new techniques. There's literally I'll never stop learning. I'll never stop wanting to grow, but I'll never not know everything. There's there's just so much. Like today I was playing around with okra and a lot of the slime started coming out and I was trying to ferment it so I could dehydrate it and turn it into salt. And I was
Okay.
having too much fun playing with I kept like putting like what can you do with all of this slime? And then the chef next to me is like, have you heard of this chef? Because he's been playing around with okra slime. And I was like, where's this been all my life? Why haven't I played around with this? Like, you can do so much with this. I just immediately forgot all the things that I wanted to do for the day, and I've been like, let's look up okra slime. Like, what can I do with that? What else I want to do? I'm still getting ready to stage at different Michelin restaurants so I can see how they do things, but also I really I want my own TV show. That's what I want. My own TV show.
Oh, okay. What, like something like on the Food Network, something like that?
Yeah, Food Network or BuzzFeed, Tasty, Netflix, any of those streaming services. I want my own show where I just do what I want and I drink wine through most of it.
Right. So basically, just kind of what
Yeah.
you do on the YouTube channels, but just on a platform like that.
Yes. Yes. With a bigger budget where I can get better things in. And I wanted to like different shows that I've watched. Like if I did a Scooby-Doo episode, I want the da-na-na-na to the next scene. Like, let's go. I want it cheesy on sometimes and I want it epic on other times. That's it sounds fun. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be definitely a different spin on the whole, typical cooking show kind of thing that you see for sure. Because I mean, obviously on the YouTube channel, if everybody out there, what is it? Geeks and Grubs is your YouTube channel.
That's it. Geeks and Grubs, but with an
Yeah.
ampersand. They gotta type in the ampersand. If you type in A&D, you're like, I can't find it. And I'm like, I know, I didn't think about it when I made it, and then now it's too late. I can't change it.
Yeah. So everybody out there who's listening to this, check out Mary Lou's Geeks and Grubs with the amber stamp on YouTube. It is definitely worth a watch. She has, on top of the food looks amazing and it tastes great. They're hilarious with all these things that you come up with. Like, I mean, how did you come up with like I said, with mimosa? How did that even pop into your head? Are you at like work doing something like has nothing that it just like this idea just pops in your head? You're like, oh, that'd be a great idea.
A lot of the times that's how it is. I'll either be at work or I'm listening to something or I'll be walking and I'm just like, this will be funny. And so when I got the little packets, because I work with that company, they're called True Citrus. And so they were like, yeah, we'd love for you to do all kinds of things and make recipes. And I was just like, what if I don't just make recipes? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I was like, I just really feel like I should dress up as a mad scientist and make things with it. And they were like, go for it.
Exactly.
I'm like, thank you. That's all I want. Cause sometimes I'll work with these brands and I think that I'm different than all of them expect. And I think they just see like my follower count or they see that I was on this TV show. And I was like, that's cool. I did those things. But do you know me and my personality and my brand and what I do? Because my stuff is like, it's whimsical and quirky. Those are my good adjectives right there. And so I thought of that one to do the mad scientist, but the mad scientist is going to constantly come back because next time we're making Gatorade, and then I wanted to use ISI cartridges and use it to make like a bubbly carbonated lemonade. And then I just started going from there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should mix it with gelatin and make like marshmallows with it. And so it just started building. So the mad scientist will always be back because it's fun. As soon as I can find my hat, I have a hat to wear. And after I moved, I can't find it. And the hat is like at least 1.5 feet long. Like, I don't know how I lost it.
Right?
No idea where this hat is.
Yeah, how do you lose a hat like that? Come on, Mary.
I don't know. I literally it's like made out of thick foam, so like it doesn't bend. Like it's sitting somewhere, and I can't find it.
What is it, like a big top hat looking kind of thing, or?
Practically, yes. It is practically like a big top hat. Have you ever seen? You probably haven't because we've already established most of this. But there's and it's called The Emperor's New Groove. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Okay, there's like a mad scientist on there, and it's Eartha Kitt's character, and she wears like this huge hat. Okay. And so for one of my Geeks and Grubs episodes, I was her, and I made spinach puffs. But that's been my like same character.
Okay.
I was like, character, let's bring her back. But yeah, so whenever there's some people in my comments, they're like, is this Isabel? And I was like, yes, it is. You got it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah. I mean, I can't promise that I'm going to check out all the Harry Potter stuff. I mean, maybe I could do like a quick like Wikipedia run.
Oh no, you don't have to. Just like if it's not what you want to do, because I hate when people are always like, Mary, you should watch this. Have you watched it yet? Have you watched? Like, there's so many things I need to watch that I don't. So please don't pressure me. But if you would like to watch it, then it's a good watch. But like you said, you're not gonna have the same like nostalgia and calling to it because we grew up with it. Like I've never seen any Indiana Jones movie. Nope.
Okay.
Never seen one because when I was growing up, I only wanted to watch cartoons. I didn't want to watch real people do real people things. I've never
Right.
seen Grease.
Okay.
I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 of the Star Wars, and I didn't start watching them until 4 years ago because somebody made me sit down and watch it. And I was like, it's
Oh.
not bad. And I started with the ones with Anakin in it. So I guess like the prequels.
Yeah, the ones that came out later, but they were the prequels. They really kind of jacked up the whole order of that.
Well, that's the one I started watching, and I was like, this man's handsome.
Have you seen the originals? The ones that
Nope.
came out in the 70s and the 80s?
Nope. I've seen in the prequels, I'm counting as 1, 2, 3. So I've seen 1, 2, 3, and then after that, I think I saw 7 because my boyfriend was like, he loves Star Wars and he made me watch it. And we went to
Okay.
go see the 7th movie. And I said, Aaron, you know, I haven't seen 4, 5, and 6. And he goes, no, don't worry about it. And so we're watching it with his whole family on Christmas Day. And I have so many questions. And he's getting so irritated because he's like, Mary, no, that's this person. Well, I don't know. We didn't watch these movies together. I told you I have no idea what's going on. Like, if it hadn't have been for social media and other cues, I wouldn't even know it was Luke Skywalker's father because they do that in like 3, 4, and 5. Wait, 5. Either way, the ones I didn't see. Like,
Yeah, the
oh,
originals. Yeah, 3, 4, and 5. Right. Yeah.
yeah, I'll be like, who? Darth Vader? The rise of Darth Vader.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when oh gosh, so I guess would have been the first one, like of the new ones that came out like 1999. I stood in line outside of the movie theater in the summer in Texas with a friend of mine for like 3 hours, and the midnight show was sold out. So we had to go to the 12:15 show.
Well, at least it was only 15 minutes later. I thought you were gonna be like, we had to come back tomorrow. I was like, I'm burning the whole theater down.
Yeah, and then I saw it like I think 2 days later with another group of friends, and that one kind of sucked. That was like the whole Jar Jar Binks one. Like that one really like, yeah, no. That's probably the lowest rated one in my book because it was just like you had all this build up and finally you got a new one comes out and you're like, this is it, really? Ugh.
Oh, we got.
All right, okay. Well, here we'll switch it. Like you said, you've never like Indiana Jones movies. Have you seen like I mentioned all the gangster movies and stuff like that? Have you ever seen The Godfather, Scarface, Casino, Goodfellas?
Nope.
None of them.
Nope. None of them.
Dang.
And now, like, I could watch them. I'm not gonna. I know that they're really good movies. Just like, Harry Potter's a good movie, but are you gonna watch it? You don't have to. Don't worry, because I'm not gonna watch any of those. If somebody's like, Mary, hey, Indiana Jones is playing right now, I'll be like, I got some emails I need to send, so I guess I'll see you later.
Break out the laptop, kind of like halfway pay attention, like what's going on? Yeah.
Exactly. And you always hate that person. You're like, oh, isn't that cool? And they're like, what? Can you replay it? Just leave. Just leave. That's me. You're gonna ask me to leave, and I'll be like, no, I deserve that.
Wow. Yeah, I have a friend that told me a few years ago that he had never seen The Godfather. And I was like, I've known this guy since we were like 13, 14 years old. We're in our 40s. I'm like, how have we known each other this long? All the times you've been to my house, like, how have you never not seen this? Like, how is that possible? He's like, I don't know, dude, just never saw it. And I was just like, I questioned our friendship that day. I mean, I was like, I don't know, dude, we might not be cool no more. Yeah, I mean, any kind of that mafia stuff, like I eat that stuff up. I mean, I listen to podcasts where these guys get interviewed. I've watched, like, I'm the type of guy, like, I could watch the same mobster movie over and over and over. Like, I could literally, you could just pick a scene from like Goodfellas or Scarface, and I could literally give you like word for word the entire scene. And I could watch them over and over. My mom used to be like, how can you watch the same movie repeatedly? I'm like, I don't know, Mom, I just can't. She's like, I don't get it.
You're like,
once I'm good, I'm done.
I have friends like that. They have no movies. They've like never collected any of them because they're just like, well, I've seen it once, so I'm fine. I was like, oh, you don't have something that you're like, this is my movie? Like, my favorite movie is Major Payne. I can watch it over and over again.
I just watched that the other day, or like most of it the other day. I remember when that came out. Yeah, I was in ninth grade when that movie came out. So yeah, you're probably just a smidge younger.
I was a wee lad, a wee lassie, and I would watch it with my mom. And like, I just need you to know that movie is so quotable in the kitchen. And so, like, whenever I work any of my shifts, I would quote it all the time, and it would be perfect. And it's just like I'd ask like who did something, and nobody would answer, and I just like, oh, okay, let's all not answer at once. I guess I just had that one a coming. Well, you know what you guys got coming? 7 24-hour days. And they're just like, there she goes again on that rant. I was like, good. It's so quotable in the kitchen.
Yeah, just Mary being Mary. They're like, yeah, it's just what she does. Yeah, we're used to it.
That's why a lot of them didn't watch the Me on Hell's Kitchen. Exactly. They're like, Mary, I live with this or I work next to this. I don't need to see it at home. And I was like, no, it's cool. I'm a big personality. I know.
Yes, you have, you're just trying to spread some joy to everybody. That's all. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm an only child.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm the youngest in my family, and yeah, I know with like the whole birth order thing. What's that?
I said you're just as bad then because you're the baby.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I always used to say to my mom, I was her favorite child, and she would never say no. She would just kind of smile. So I'm like, well, you never said no, Mom, so it must be true.
Exactly, because like she can't say yes, but she can just not answer. I'm like,
exactly. Yeah, she would do that with a lot. And then as I realized as I got older, and I would tell her like the stupid stuff that I would do when I was younger, and I was like, oh yeah, Mom, there was this one time, whatever, and if you're like waiting in the doctor's office, and she would just like stop me and she like, Greg, if you love me and you care about me, just stop. I don't want to hear anymore. Just stop. I'm like, no, it's fine, Mom. No. And she's like, just stop. I don't want to hear it. I'm like, don't worry, Mom. The statute of limitations is years ago. It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, that always would crack me up. But you just stop. I just stop. I'm like, no. We're about to get to the best part, Mom. Trust me. She's like, no, just it's okay. I don't need to hear it. I'm like, okay, Mom. All right. But yeah, as I got older, it's like, God, I was bad. I mean, I wouldn't say I was bad, but I definitely probably caused way more stress on my parents and probably aged them prematurely for all the things I did when I was younger. I was good there for a little while, and then I kind of, went off in a different way when I was a teenager. I always blame it on my friends. And then my mom would say, it's like, well, you're hanging out with these people, so what's that say about you? I'm like, well, you got a point. So,
yeah, I had none of that. I was a dream child. My mom was like, you were perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like the time, I think it was last day of school in 8th grade, a bunch of people came over because my junior high was literally like less than a 10-minute walk from our house to my house. So a bunch of people came over and somebody had the brilliant idea to start jumping off the roof into the pool. And then somebody had even a more brilliant idea. It's like, well, why don't we go to the second story and jump off of that into the pool? And one of my neighbors saw it and called my parents, and my dad showed up, and needless to say, it was not a good day for the rest of the night for me.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I don't want to incriminate myself too much more. Because there was different situations and things when you got older and different friends, and if they might be watching it, they probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, but like I said, that was many years ago. So any laws that might have been broken or whatever were, a long time ago. We can't go back in time and get in trouble for those things anymore. But yeah, as I look back at it, it's like, God, I did a lot of stupid stuff when I was younger. A lot of stupid stuff. My poor parents, my poor mom and dad. Just yeah. But so, anyways, okay. So like you said, you're still always want to learn, always evolve in the kitchen, and chasing that. And obviously, TV show. Would you? I think you said it the last time we talked. Do you ever have the desire to own your own restaurant, or would you rather, like, if you had to pick one, would you rather have your own restaurant, your own TV show?
My own TV show.
Oh, okay. Is it because you've worked in restaurants for so long, you just know all the stress of what goes into running a day-to-day restaurant and how that is, and you just don't want to have any part of that?
No, it's like as a child that grew up kind of like being raised by the television, it'd be really awesome to see myself on it. So I'd like that. I'd like to be able to represent for all the people that look like me and for all the people that are into the things that I'm into, but are looked down upon as childish or like they don't know what they're talking about or seen as naive. Cause I get that all the time. And it's just like after being on the show, by one of the world's greatest chefs telling me that I'm good enough and letting the world know that I'm good enough. It's like a lot of people who doubted me started to respect me. And it's like, yeah, I'm young and I'm quirky and I talk a lot and I watch a lot of anime and I make a lot of like cartoon food, but I was the executive chef at like a multi-million-dollar restaurant for years. And I was on a show with one of the world's greatest chefs. I almost won. Feel like I should have won, but it's okay. It's neither here nor there. I'm not bitter about it anymore. My mom might still be, but I've I'm great and I want other people to see that too. And I feel like having a restaurant, I would like one day, but if I had to choose between either or, I would like to have the TV show first and let other people be able to see me. Like I won't the name of my restaurant won't spread to a lot of the people that I want to see it as
Mhm.
the TV world, and I'll attract a younger audience. And it's like, hey, I could grow up to be like that. If I start my restaurant, I'm getting a lot of like more mature older people in there. And I don't mean older as in like, "Oh, I'm coming in and I'm old." I just mean like, the older generation.
Right. Now, from being on the show and your social media presence that have you had anybody like you said, people look like you and represent women and being in a male dominated field. Have you had anybody reach out to you and say like, hey Mary, I wasn't sure about doing this, but now I'm pursuing this because they saw you and what you did and how you did it? Like, have you had anybody say like, I'm doing this because I saw you and I'm following my dream because I saw you do it, and now that gave me the inspiration, I could do it too?
Yeah, I get it all the time.
How
It's
does that
like
make you feel?
whenever I feel like I'm not doing enough, when I feel like I'm not doing enough or I start to feel really down on myself, I always it just pops up. Like somebody will send me a message like, "Hey, I was really inspired by what you did and I'm trying to do this now." And I was like, "Oh, right, Mary, just keep going because there's one person out there that you made a difference in their life." And I'm like, "Okay, I can keep going." And I've had like people come up to me in restaurants or random places and like, "Are you Mary Lou?" Not so much since I changed my hair and I think people are confused. But when it's back to purple, they're like, "Are you married?" Now I just get a lot of looks like, and I'll be like, "Hi," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you married?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." Like, ah, but I get people come up to me just letting me know that I changed their life, and I was like, "That's really sweet," and I'm glad that I could help you. So I want to continue on this path.
How does that make you feel? Like, I've never had anybody say something like that. Like, hey man, I did this and I saw you do this. Like, how does like I can't even imagine that feeling that somebody is chasing their life's dream, something that they weren't sure that they could do because of you just basically being in yourself. Because I know when we talked the last time, you said you weren't sure, you were crying, you wanted to go home, and you think being on the show was, and then your asshole bosses that you had to be like, Mary, this is the worst idea. You'll never work out. And this is why would you do this? Like, you had all this doubt, and then you accomplished everything you did, and now you've come out on the other side. I mean, I can't imagine that. I mean, the sense of fulfillment you must have when you, like you said, if you're kind of having a bum day or you're just kind of whatever, whatever stressing you out, then you get this message from a complete stranger that says, because of what you do and who you are, I'm doing what I want to do now. Like, I can't imagine how good that must make you feel.
Yeah, it makes me very proud. It makes me feel anxious where it's like I want to continue to do more of this stuff. But it helps me when I'm teetering on either side, whether I don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job as to I'm doing a fantastic job. It like pulls me back over where it's like, no, Mary, you're good, just keep going.
Right. I mean, just to think that you're changing, like you're making an impact in people's lives. Like, not everybody, like, yeah, everybody goes to work, everybody does this, and you try to set a good example. Like, if you got kids, in your community or things like that. But like, you have this presence in this platform that can reach all over the world. And I'm sure you've had more than a few people reach out to you. Like, I can't imagine that must just be just so cool to be like, wow, you were making a difference. You were changing people's lives for the better. Just being yourself. You're not putting on an act. You're not doing anything. You're just being you, getting the confidence in yourself. And you're like, wow, like, I mean, I would just sit back and be like, damn, like that. I mean, wow, I did that. Like, that would just be so cool to think that you're doing that and you're touching people's lives every day.
Makes me really happy, really proud.
Yeah, I can imagine. It would be so cool. Maybe one day somebody would be like, hey man, I watched The Godfather because I saw you and Mary Lou talking about
So they can talk a lot of shit to me. Like, Mary, you
it.
never seen this? No. And don't make me feel bad.
Exactly. The Departed, that's another good one. That one just popped in my head. That one came out like 2006. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson. That's a good one. If it's ever on TV and you just happen to be home.
The which one? The Shining?
No, The Departed. It's a gangster movie.
Oh, The Departed.
Yes.
Which is the, oh no, I'm thinking of Shutter Island. I'm a duly appointed federal marshal. That's the only one I know.
Oh yeah, that one was cool. I did see that one. Even though the horror movie, scary movie. Okay, what about that? Are you into the whole scary movie thing as well? I mean, you said the
No.
vampire thing.
I, vampires are not scary.
Okay.
Vampires are not scary. They're amazing, confident people. Yeah, they gotta suck blood to live, but I mean, I eat meat. I just don't kill people.
Did you ever see the Queen of the Damned movie with the Leah from back in the day? Did you ever check that one out?
Sir, don't ever disrespect me like that. You know I've seen that movie. Please.
I had the biggest crush on her when I was younger. Her and I were basically the same age. She was maybe, I think she was born in January of '79, and I was born in October of '79. So she was just ever so slightly older than me. But yeah, I always had a thing for her. I always thought she was, I loved her music. Still listen to it to this day. Every time I hear "Rock the Boat," I kind of get sad, just because it's like, man, that was the song, where she made the video and it just didn't come back. I was like, oh, but yeah, always had a crush on her when I was younger. Still do. But yeah, read her book. Somebody came out with a book. I was supposed to do a podcast with some woman who wrote a biography about her last year, but we could never, just could never make it happen for some reason. But it's kind of like maybe an unauthorized biography, kind of sort of. It came out last summer, beginning of last summer. Kathy was her first name. Kathy was her first name. Last name began with an I. But yeah, for sure. So, but okay, Mary, is there, obviously we said the Geeks and Grubs, YouTube, Coffee and Concealer. Those are both your Instagram handles. Check out your Geeks and Grubs on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Geeks and Grubs and Coffee.
Yes, for sure. So, like I said, I'm going to figure out a way to get you to come to Dallas and have do a pop up, make this happen. I will.
Awesome.
Like
I
said,
that sounds fun.
I know some people here that kind of are in that world in the restaurant business, so maybe we can make something happen. And you'll have to do your mimosa demonstration live.
Oh yeah, they'll be ready for that. It's like, why sacrifice more champagne when you can why sacrifice more juice and less champagne when you can have equal juice flavor and still have champagne? I'm just helping out the masses.
There you go. What's your favorite champagne? Is there a particular brand that you care for?
Piper.
Or just which one?
Piper.
Okay. That's the one. Okay.
He's a dick. I don't know. That's my favorite. So good.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely have to make that happen. And like I said, get you up here to Dallas and do that pop up. But as always, I know I don't want to take up too much of your time, Mary. I know we can sit here and babble on forever, but I know you've been at work all day and you got a lot of other stuff going on. And it's 7:30, so you still got the whole evening to relax, hang out, do your thing, enjoy your time off. But as always, thank you so much for coming on here again the second time, because the first one.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, thank you. I sucked in the first one. God, I sucked. I was listening to it the next day and I was cringing. I was just oh my God. I was just like, you were funny. You were just, like I said, you did a great job. You were just, everything that we saw on TV that you were the same. And I was listening to myself. I was like, Jesus, I'm so nervous. It's just like, I was talking too much, or I wasn't talking enough. I couldn't get a sentence out. I was like, for the love of God, I could talk to myself in the sports podcast for a freaking hour, but I can't talk to somebody who's got a good personality. It's like, if you were boring and you had nothing to bring to the table, I could understand if I couldn't hold it, but it's like, you more than held up your side of the bargain, and I just sucked. I was texting friends of mine, I was just like, do yourself a favor, just mute the part when I talk and listen to her. Because I was like, I sucked. I was so bad. I was so embarrassed. So I was like, we got to do this again so I can redeem myself, please. So thank God you did, because God, the first one was bad for
me. Well, I'm glad that we could redo it. I'm glad you're happy.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, we'll try to get you here to Dallas. I mean, if you ever want to do this again, Mary, the door is always open. I know you're busy, you have a lot of things to do, and you have a busy schedule on a day-to-day basis, but the door's always open. If you ever want to come back on, I enjoy talking to you. You have a great vibe, you're funny. And I had quite a little good feedback from everybody that saw it, said that they enjoyed it and thought you were hilarious and funny. And if they didn't know you before, they do you now, and they started following you. Oh, before we go, one more thing. Could you give my friend Teddy another shout out real quick before we go?
You just want me to say hi, Teddy?
Yes.
Hi, Teddy.
There we go. Perfect. He will be happy. I almost forgot. I would never heard the end of that. He's like, "What do you mean you talked to Mary Lou again?" Yeah. So, yeah, perfect. So, okay, thank you so much, Mary. I really appreciate this. You're always you're so much fun. I enjoy doing these, and maybe we can do another one down the road. But thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I can't promise the Harry Potter things. They do repeat on TV a lot. I will make a concerted effort. If maybe one's on TV, I'll maybe check out a few minutes.
Okay.
If it's on TV, and if between watching the 17 football games I watch every weekend, maybe if I'm changing the channel and it's there, maybe I'll catch a few minutes here and there.
Right before the commercial comes on, and then you remember you were watching something else and you turn it back.
Yeah, I'll be like, "Hey, guess who I figured out who?" I was just like, "Hey, this is a character on there. I never knew that before." And you'll just be like, "Really? Just stop. Just yeah." It's like, really?
Oh, once again with the disrespect.
Exactly. So awesome. All right, Mary Lou, thank you so much. Everybody check out her YouTube channel, Geeks and Grubs on YouTube. It is well worth your time. The food looks amazing. She's funny. She's hilarious. She has everything you would want in a chef and more. She's into cosplay. She's got everything and more. So much.
Thank you.
All right, Mary. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll be in touch, and we'll make this Dallas thing happen for you.
Awesome, Blossom. Sounds great.
All right, Mary. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.